Oh, gosh. Yeah, this is ridiculous. This is totally ridiculous.
So you're not talking about a landline. You're talking about a bat phone.
I will say it is the first time we have left a discussion with a doctor when we've talked about Alzheimer's.
With smiles on our faces.
That I feel hopeful.
Yeah, we get older every day. Got more wrinkles, that's okay. Yeah, we're laughing when we age. Life is like a comedy stage. And that's why we got Landlines.
Hey everybody, I'm Kim Holderness.
And I'm Penn Holderness. We are so thrilled that you are joining us for this episode of Laugh Lines.
This one is going to be so good, but I will let you know that if you know who Max Headroom is, welcome to the show. We are your people.
Yeah.
We have also received many notes recently that your haircut, Penn Holderness,
looks like Max Headroom.
Yeah. So I think we should, Sam, her favorite thing to do, our producer, is to do more editing.
So a superimposition with him next to me, like a split screen?
Yeah. So if you're watching on YouTube, do you know who Max Headroom is? No. Okay.
No,
she's saying no. So if you know, it's like our little secret.
He was the first like AI robotic human being on MTV, and he had glitches when he talked. And I'm pretty sure he was part of a massive campaign for either Coke or Pepsi.
And he's like our first AI personality.
Yeah, he was. He very boxy suit, if I remember correctly.
And really just really rocked our generation.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say like really handsome or something to try to make me feel better. But
handsome.
Can I also say something?
Yes.
Like here's how you know that you're our people. If you're old enough that you find a sweater that you really like it and you wear it for 3 straight weeks without realizing it for a podcast, we're your people too.
Oh my gosh.
This is the 3rd straight week. I really do like this sweater, but I'm not
wearing this for the 3rd week.
It's not like I'm just wearing it every day. I just like this sweater. So
I have to say, I am one for a uniform. I'm trying to change that up a little bit. We are very excited about this podcast. We've left the conversation very hopeful, but we do have some housekeeping. We'd love to hear from you. And what do you want us to talk about here in the Laugh Lines? We love hearing from you because it's A, comedy, and B, therapy. So you can email us at podcast@theholdernessfamily.com or leave us a voicemail on our answering machine, 323-364-3929. Our answering machine. Remember an answering machine? I have to say though,
but I love when people call in because we like getting a text from you. It's one thing, but then hearing you and all of your wonderful idiosyncrasies and imperfections, and like you can take as much time as you want to. I love that we're bringing back voicemails.
I will also say this. Speaking of bringing back, I read an actual article, but I think it was like a Today Show piece. I didn't see this on TikTok, where families are buying their tweens. Instead of giving them cell phones, landlines, like old-fashioned landlines.
I love this.
I know. So they can stay in touch because they were like, how do we do this? How do we give them a phone where they can stay in touch, but there's no social media and it's really just at home?
Landline.
A landline.
Yeah.
So I would love a landline.
True. I would not trade it for what we have now because I can't tell you how amazing it is to have a daughter who will like FaceTime you from college.
Yes. So here's my issue though.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like, and parents who have kids in college, I feel like I carry my cell phone around. Like she called us while we were recording this interview. And
of course we stopped.
I know I didn't. No, we didn't stop the interview. She did call us, but we didn't stop the interview. But the whole time I was like, oh my God, my baby's calling. If we had a landline, she could call and I would know that's an emergency. But she was probably just calling us on her way to class. So I feel like I could put the phone down a little bit.
I get it. So you're not talking about a landline. You're talking about a bat phone. That's the term for like the special. And when it rings, you know that you have to pick it up. Remember the bat phone you always answered. Right?
Well, but this number would only go to certain people. And if you called it, you have to answer.
That's
anyway,
a bat phone,
we just got off on a tangent there. Also, previously, I'd asked for a lot of sleep tips because I am at my wit's end about sleeping.
And we're going to talk about that in this
And we're going to talk about this in this podcast as well. We got a lot of tips from you, and I'm going to kick off this podcast by heading to the Laugh Line.
Laugh Line is the part of the show where everyone will find Laugh Line. You call us up and you tell us what's on your mind.
This is a voicemail from Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, my name's Katie, and I'm from California. And Kim, this is in response to your question of what has helped with insomnia due to perimenopause. And the thing that worked was I went to a sleep therapist. Yes, I was desperate. And he said something that changed everything. He said, if you don't sleep in the morning, don't talk about it. Stop talking about it. Stop thinking about it. Go about your day as if you did sleep. And tell your family and friends to stop asking you every single day, did you sleep? Because my kids were asking me, my husband was asking me, my sister and my mom were calling me every morning to find out if I slept, and it was perpetuating the anxiety that comes with not sleeping. And I think that really, really helped me.
I love that.
Do you find yourself, I mean, you do talk about it.
I obsess over it.
Yeah.
Our son is so sweet and he's so empathetic. He will ask me
He'll ask you.
like, did you sleep? Okay. So you are going to hear me ask Dr. Eric Topol about my sleep, but that's the last time you're going to hear from me about that. But somebody named Megasaurus sent a really funny suggestion.
Okay.
Kim, if you can't sleep, bring a pillow with you and lay down on your kitchen floor like Taylor Tomlinson. So that's a comedian, Taylor Tomlinson. She has a bit that if you can't sleep, lay on your kitchen floor for 10 minutes and then go back to bed to sleep. And it's weird, but Taylor says it works.
All right. So maybe it works because it's so uncomfortable on the kitchen floor that once you get back to your bed, there's a sense of relief and ease that like puts you to bed. I
am going to try all of these things. And if it does work, I'm not going to tell you about it.
Something that you'll learn is that Kim will try anything. And that's one of her greatest traits is her sense of adventure. Okay, this is perfect segue because we are going to talk about sleep and a lot of other things with one of our new favorite people.
We
like to call him our new dad. His name's Dr. Eric Topol. I want to tell just really quickly before we give you his incredibly impressive bio, how we met him, right? So Kim and I were at a very cool sort of summit, like a thought summit a few weeks ago. And they had these breakout rooms and you could pick which room to go into. And for the two of us, we were interested in two very similar sounding things. One of them was called longevity. The other one was called the year 2075. They're both about the future,
right?
And what's going to happen. But Kim, of course, is fascinated
with longevity.
With longevity, she has plenty of wellness theories and thoughts, and she's gone down several extensive rabbit holes, and even used her purchasing power to follow that up when it comes to longevity. I obviously care about it with my Alzheimer's family background. I felt like, but I felt like I'd heard enough about that. So I went to the year 2075 because I wanted to know if AI was going to take over the world. So this just goes to show, like, if we have to choose between like alien invasions and AI or taking care of yourself, that's the way we're going to go, right? So I'm in this room. It's fascinating, but my phone will not stop dinging.
It was me.
While I'm in there. And Kim is like, this guy's amazing. This guy's my new favorite.
Get over here right now.
Get over here right now. Leave right now. I'm putting you on a GLP. Yeah. That one I was like, what?
I'm like, you're going on a GLP-1 right now. Come over here right now. Really? And so he like sneaks into the back of the room. And this discussion was led by Dr. Eric Topol. His newest book is called Super Agers. Let's give his full bio so you realize what a rock star he is.
He's earned it.
Dr. Eric Topol is a world-renowned cardiologist, scientist, and New York Times bestselling author whose work is changing how we understand health, aging, and the power of technology to make care more human.
Dr. Topol is the founder and director of the Scripps Research Translational Institute, where he leads groundbreaking research in genetics, digital health, and artificial intelligence. Time magazine named him one of the most influential people in healthcare, and his insights have been featured on the New York Times, The Atlantic, The Washington Post, 60 Minutes, and TED Talks.
Dr. Topol has authored several acclaimed books, including Deep Medicine and most recently Super Agers, an evidence-based approach to longevity, where he explores how innovation can help us live longer, healthier, and more connected lives. And he's not just studying the future of medicine, he's helping create it. He's amazing. Please welcome Dr. Eric Topol.
Well, great to be with you, Kim and Penn. This is going to be fun.
Your smiling face is impressive, especially knowing that you were in Munich, Germany last night, not too long ago.
I got back from there a long flight from Munich to San Diego, the only way you can go nonstop to Europe. So yeah, I just got back last night, and I was so pleased that we have the chance to get together.
Oh, I just, you guys, this man is like sunshine and unicorns and rainbows. And one of the things I love most about Dr. Eric Topol is he shoots it straight.
That's right.
He is going to tell us very researched answers to our very many questions. Your most recent book, Super Agers, I just finished it. I loved it. Like, bottom line for us, are there things, we talk a lot about how aging is awesome and there's so many benefits with aging. You know, what's the biggest thing you've discovered that does get better as we age?
Yeah, so I think we have to accept that aging is inevitable, but we don't have to accept that you can't stay healthy most of your life and even extend your health span. And so there are several ways in general we know how to do that, but certainly our functionality with respect to physical activity, we can do all this stuff. We can be very active, and of course that promotes health span. So that's one of the things that a lot of people, as they get older, they think, I'm lost some of my mojo, ability to do stuff. No. If you keep working at it, you can really get that activity to a high level and sustain it. And that's going to be a very positive way to promote health span.
What a great way to think of things. So I would say for the majority of people like myself and like a lot of our listeners, we are social media facing. We have Instagram, we have TikTok, we check it probably more than once a day. Something has happened. I don't know if the overlord that runs social media knows that I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about the fountain of youth. It's this great elusive thing that will allow me to make the most out of the back nine of my life in golfing terms. And so they're serving me a lot of stuff, a lot. And I kind of want to go through some of these things with you and get your take on them. And we can spend as much or as little time on these as possible. But I've gotten a million advertisements about saunas causing longevity and brain health.
Yeah.
This is really sad because there's so much bunk out there that's not substantiated. That was really one of the main reasons I did the book, was because we got to get this straight. We got to get, what are the truths, the things we do know, the things that we will eventually get straight. But as you're pointing out, and there's a fixation out there on this topic, and so much of it is off track.
Okay, tell me some of the wellness trends that make you cringe. I'm going to go through them. How much protein should we actually be eating? Because as a woman in perimenopause, they're saying, I should be eating my body weight in grams of protein or something like that. How much should I actually be eating?
Yeah, it's totally absurd. This promotion of very high protein with bars and powder and all sorts of things. This is, not at all substantiated. So if you go to the 1 gram per pound per day, you're getting so much protein. The extra you're excreting, or it will also promote inflammation. So you might want to go to twice the recommended daily allowance, which is 0.8 grams per kilogram. That's per kilogram, not per pound. And so double that would be 1.6. That's the absolute max. And that's still way different than 1 gram per pound. So we have this craze right now that has no good evidence to support it, except that it's making some people who are making these protein products extremely wealthy.
I love to hear that, because I would have to quit my job to get the amount of protein that people need me to eat.
Dr. Topol, if you go to the grocery store now, there's protein popcorn, which I learned is they just sprinkle some powder on it, right? Gross. There's protein waffles. There's I'm glad we're talking to you, because we're buying all this stuff because we go on TikTok. How is this happening? How are more doctors not saying what you're saying?
It's actually kind of amazing, Penn, because, just this week there was a paper in one of the leading science journals, Cell, and it showed how low protein was enhancing healthy aging, low protein, and in humans, not just in mice. And so it's actually really interesting, because when I was in Germany the last few days, they don't have any of this protein craze. They have in their grocery store, and they took me in to show me, because I was so surprised, all their products are to have anti-inflammation in their diet. So they're on track. but very high levels of protein have been shown to promote inflammation in the body, the last thing you'd want.
Okay.
All right, that's protein.
Okay, check. Okay. So
what about a big red X in front of it after each one of them?
What
about? By the way, and all that protein, you're getting a lot of calories, and that's not going to help you if you want to, have a good weight, the kind of appropriate weight. And if you're taking an animal protein, like from red meat and things that are really promote inflammation, that's like the worst thing you could do.
What about daily cold plunges or sauna to promote longevity and brain health?
He's already shaking his head.
This really gets me. I mean, you got all these, people that are going out and getting, either going to a place or they're actually buying their own for their cold plunges. This is dangerous. Okay. As you get older, you're getting into not your 60s and 70s and beyond. The last thing you want to do is get a cold plunge. That's a stress test for your heart. And then to go from there to a sauna, there are no data, zero, to support these things to promote health span. And it's really sad because there are people out there that are pushing it, just like the protein and, things like rapamycin and various other things you're probably going to ask me about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was the sauna. Any benefits to a sauna? Like maybe like a little bit of meditation time? Like is it dangerous?
No. I mean, if it makes you feel good and it gives you, relaxation. I don't know how your cold plunge makes you relax, but let me know if you figure that one out.
So cold plunge releases like these crazy, I don't know, endorphins or adrenaline for me. If I stay in for longer than if I get to 3 minutes and I get out, I feel so awake for the rest of the day. So it's awful for the first minute or two.
The only other thing it does, though, it's called a cold pressor test.
Uh-huh.
It really vasoconstricts your blood vessels. Tight constriction to really increase your blood pressure. It could also stimulate your vagal nerve to do things. So there are a lot of mixed effects with a cold plunge. So I don't recommend it. Now you're young. You guys are young folks. So, maybe you could get away with it.
Not that young.
As a cardiologist, I would not advise it at all.
Okay. Erythromycin. You just brought that up. There are some well-known authors and influencers promoting this. What are they alleging, and what do you know about it?
Yeah, so rapamycin.
Rapamycin. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Rapamycin has potential. It has good data in mice and rats for promoting longevity, not necessarily health span. And remember, there's a difference. If you look for a model organism like a mouse, you're looking for youthful organs. When you not just that they live longer. So there's some evidence that rapamycin can do this. There's no good evidence in people. Now here's the problem with rapamycin. It's advocated by some of these longevity writers, influencers, but it suppresses the immune system. And we don't know how to measure. We don't have a way to measure the immune system. So some people will have marked suppression at very low doses. No one knows the right dose. No one knows if it even works. And one of the leading proponents ever for rapamycin was Peter Attia. And what's interesting is, he's just on 60 Minutes admitting that he had to stop it because it was causing all these mouth sores just this past week. So he is, along with so many others, promote this without the safety of having your immune system knocked down and, being susceptible. Even Brian Johnson, the most extreme guy, don't die guy, he had to stop taking rapamycin because he was getting all these infections. So no one knows if it works in people, but we do know it suppresses the immune system.
Okay. So we're keeping score here. We've got sauna, cold plunge, protein, too much protein, rapamycin,
No, in mice, yes, but humans, no.
No, probably, yeah. So,
don't mess with it. We don't know the dose. We're waiting for real data. Yeah.
All right, so here's a big one, GLP-1s.
Yeah, that's big. Okay, because the GLP-1s, as far as everyone knows that they've been such a big hit in weight loss. But what we learned is that a lot of the benefits for the heart, the kidney, the liver, people with rheumatoid arthritis, migraines, addiction, like whether it's alcohol or drugs or even gambling and nail biting, all these things are not related to weight loss, that they are dissociated, right? So what's fascinating is we've had to invoke another explanation for this, and it appears that the best way to explain this is that there's this profound anti-inflammatory effect in the brain and also throughout the body. So it looks as though these family of drugs, it's not just Ozempic and Mounjaro. There's going to be a whole lot more coming. They're going to be in pill form. There's another 8 more of these hormones that we're going to mimic with these drugs. So this is a big, exciting area. And there are 2 trials. They're going to be out very soon to prevent progression in people with mild Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
If they work, my goodness. So it's possible that we'll all be taking these family of drugs at some point in the future. It's too early for that. But in contrast to a lot of things that you have been asking me about, this one has lots of promise.
Okay.
But it's expensive still. It's injectable. It's not covered by insurance unless you're diabetic or you have to, obese and have heart issues. So we don't have the justification. And one last thing, this microdosing of these GLP-1s, we don't have any data for that.
Okay. So I will say I trust it when Dr. Topol says, yes, we need to learn more. We need this, because he is so quick. His barrier for a yes is really high.
Listen to what we just went through. I want to make something really clear. I hope this isn't necessary to explain, but I'm gonna do it just in case. We have no stock in a GLP company. We have no partnership with a GLP company. We are just curious, and I assume that you are the same, Dr. Topol.
Absolutely. Yeah. I have no connection. In fact, I've been kind of anti-pharma throughout most of my career. And this one, I had to say, they really hit it big here.
Okay.
I think the emphasis point is we've never had a drug class that is this broad a benefit for every organ that we've seen. And the only one that's really waiting is the brain. And we're actually starting this week the first large-scale trial in people with long COVID, testing tirzepatide, Mounjaro, in over 1,000 people. And, this has a lot of potential to make a difference for some people with long COVID, for which there's no treatment.
And one more quick question. When it goes into pill form, does that democratize the ability to get it? Does it make it cheaper?
Yes, it should, because it's the injectables, the peptides are so much more expensive to make, and then the auto injectors. This should take it down to, much, much less expensive, and then eventually generic. So that'll help get the distribution much more evenly and wider.
Hear me out. Okay. I love that you have such an evidence-based approach. I love that we have your phone number so we can call you and ask you these things. Right. But by design, the approval process for these medicines works so slowly, right? Yeah. So I can see how, GLP is one example, but other things people are taking and injecting, hoping to live a longer life. They see the beginnings of evidence and they think, I can't wait long enough for our government to catch up with this, right?
Right.
So you're saying, let's go to GLP-1 because that seems a little more benign. Why shouldn't somebody try, if they have a family history of heart disease, Alzheimer's, why shouldn't they jump on the microdose bandwagon if they have a doctor who's willing to prescribe it?
Yeah, no, you can get it. That's not the problem. There's all these teleconnects you can make and get it. And it can be compounded, which is suspect, of course, too, not from the manufacturers and all that. But the problem is a really good question, Kim. We don't really know the dose that would work, for these different indications or likely benefits. So there are a lot of people right now that are doing just what you said, but they're putting out a significant amount of money because it's not reimbursed for these things, for some of these things we're talking about. So part of it is lack of reimbursement or coverage by insurance. Part of it is not knowing the dose. Part of it, we're just waiting to see these effects. Now, the benefits, that is. This is a very unusual class of medicines because, unlike every other drug class, the side effects here, which are largely, gastrointestinal, they go away after a few weeks. but the benefits, the efficacy just stays on indefinitely. And, it was interesting. On my recent trip, I spoke to one of the pioneers in this field, and they're working on a drug to help people wean and not gain the weight back and not lose the efficacy. Wouldn't that be great? Because that's another problem we're talking about here. Right now, these are forever drugs.
Right. You take them and you got to keep taking them.
Yeah, if you're using them to lose weight or all these other possible benefits, there's a rebound after you stop. So we have to find a way to keep the benefits without having to take the drug for the rest of your life, especially if you're paying a lot to take this on a monthly basis. So, I know there are a lot of people out there. A lot of your listeners are taking these drugs right now. They're kind of jumping the gun. I don't think it's a danger, unlike a lot of these peptides. These stack of peptides that are being taken that have all these fancy names like BPC 157 and what, but at least this have had trials of tens of thousands of people with placebo, with long-term follow-up. So at least here we have some terra firma. We have some real data to work with.
Your book, Super Agers, you tell the stories of people who are chronologically older and have very different health spans. What can you tell us about the people and the people you interviewed and the patients you saw who had really amazing health spans? Was it genetic? Was it luck? What were they doing that the rest of us aren't?
Yeah, this is something I thought was so really shocking. Okay, that we've always assumed that people that live a long life or live long healthily, that they must have some kind of genetic endowment, right?
Right.
But as I presented with the Lee Rusal, the patient that I featured in the book, came back to many times, all of her relatives, her parents, her brothers, they died very young. And here she is, 98, and totally intact. So when we did 1,400 people like Lee, we did whole genome sequencing, we found very little in their DNA sequence. 3 billion letters that are paired. They didn't show much compared to the people who are usual 65 and older that have multiple chronic diseases. So yes, there's a little bit genetic, a little bit luck, but most of it turns out to be an intact immune system. It's fascinating because, we didn't zoom in on that. And you don't see that when you look at a genome sequence, but now all the data points to the immune system. And that's why things like an anti-inflammatory diet and exercise and sleep health and all these things really promote your immune system function. And so I was liberated because I have the worst family history you can imagine. But I thought I'm going to, I'm not going to get there in terms of healthy aging. But now we can really go into the data and say, it's not your genetic pre-programmed story. Yeah. It's something you have a lot of control over.
That's really good to hear as someone who also has the genetics of an Alzheimer's profile, like a pretty heavy one.
We're going to be able to prevent Alzheimer's. That's what's so exciting. That's
amazing to hear.
We're going to start a trial in January to do just that. We've never done that, never even tried before. Everybody was afraid to know if they were at high risk because there wasn't anything we could do. And now that's totally changing.
You said something that was so profound that it kind of took my breath away. You said, we are going to, did you say cure Alzheimer's? Did you say prevent Alzheimer's? In our family, this is daily talk. As you know, when we met, we told you about this. Anybody who listens to this podcast knows that Penn has like a real, he's in line.
I got both the fours. I got the twin ApoE4 genes. I think a lot of people in my family do.
Yeah. Mom's at end stages of Alzheimer's. Dad passed from dementia. So when you said that, I was like, so can you give me a baseline, what's being done?
Yeah. So this, I think it was a really, why I have so much optimism and why we're starting that trial to prevent, capital P, prevent Alzheimer's. So curing, that's a problem. Yeah. Treating, once you got the problem, it's much harder to deal, but prevention is the key. Now, I'm an ApoE4 carrier, so I know I have increased risk. So the trial we're doing is taking people who have either ApoE4, 1 or 2 copies of that gene. They have a risk family history of Alzheimer's, and they also have what we call a polygenic risk score, which is very inexpensive to get. I go into 10 companies that have that now, and more coming that in the book. Now, if you have a high risk, there's been a huge breakthrough in this field. And that's what's called, well, 2 breakthroughs, but one is called p-tau 217.
Yep.
This test, which has been available for a couple of years, a blood test, this tells you if you have, in the next 15 years, do you have any risk of Alzheimer's? And if that comes back really low, you can celebrate, because that's we never had a test like this, okay? And the next thing is we also have what we call organ clocks. We can get from a blood test the clock of each organ of your body, including the brain and the immune system. Now, this is exciting because that clock says, is one of your organs, like your brain, does it have a fast pace of aging that goes beyond your actual age? So let's say your brain clock is 8 years faster than your rest of your organs. That's not good. So what we want to do, this p-tau 217 not only tells us about advanced warning of risk and timing, even tells you the year that you might start seeing cognitive deficit, but it also is modifiable by lifestyle. And we're now testing, of course, whether GLP-1 family of drugs, supplements like lithium orotate, various things will even further lower this p-tau 217 and slow the pace of aging of the brain. So for the first time, we have a markers that can help us guide that we are going to prevent or defer Alzheimer's for many, many years. So this is something we never had before. And it's one of the biggest breakthroughs in neuroscience or even in medicine.
Yeah.
I'm really trying hard not to cry right now, because you never hear any sign of hope when it comes to this. And this is like so deeply impacted every cell of our family. Just this sort of shadow that has always been present. And so when I hear stuff like that, I have so many follow-up questions. I'm like, oh, GLP-1, I know it's not tested, but I like, get on it. So that's why I think people, they hit fast forward, because by the time you do your study and it's peer reviewed and all this stuff, like I want to make sure that my husband is, on it.
And I've got my p-tau 217 results. I shared them with Dr. Topol. He said they're excellent for my age. That's good news. So I understand this is going to help diagnose it, right? But yes. But you said you're going to prevent it. Like if I come back in 2 years and it's gone way up, something needs to be done, right? So
maybe that's the lithium something you said, and maybe that's a GLP-1.
Yeah. So it would be very unlikely with your test being so low. I was thrilled when I got my test also, very low, that, I'm good for many years. I told all my colleagues it's
still working.
I'm not going down so quick. No, but you see when you see that it's that low, that's very reassuring, because it is so predictive of the time arc, right? So, if it was high, that's why those are the people that we're testing in the trial, with a GLP-1 drug, which has a lot of promise. There's been a lot of recent data on lithium. We don't know the dose. That's another tricky part of the supplement, which is pretty inexpensive. So it would be a very attractive way to bring down this as well. So it looks really good that we have some interventions besides a lifestyle that will help bring this down. But when it's really low,
there's not much to do.
Yeah. That's like the best case scenario. I had ordered some lithium supplement. When I got my value, I said, I'm putting that aside and give it to somebody else, because it's a safe thing to take. But why even bother if your level's so low?
Okay, next question. And I've heard you talk about this in person, and other times I've heard you speak about the body clock test.
Yeah.
Okay, is it a blood test? Like what do we do?
It will be out next year.
Okay.
There's been several pivotal papers. And to your point, Kim, about, get all these big top journal publications. Why isn't there a test now? Right. So finally, the group at Stanford who pioneered this work, they have a spin out company that's going to be making these available low cost next year. And so what this does, I think it'll be a routine part of checkups, is that every year or so you just check. It's like taking your car in and, can do an electronic survey of all the different parts, right? It will say, oh, well, all your organs are intact. In fact, they're slow aging. Or, oh, there's one here, which could be the alert for a possible risk of cancer, for example, or for your arteries and your heart. So that's going to give us new power of prevention like we've never had before. And that's why we're entering the era of primary prevention, whether it's Alzheimer's, cancer, heart disease. That's what's so novel here.
Okay. And so next year, we're going to walk into our doctor's office and we're going to say, I want the body clock blood test. Like, what is it? What's it going to be?
Organ clock.
Organ clock. I was like,
we already have a body clock, but it doesn't do that much good.
Okay.
You know what your doctor will say, Kim?
What?
What's that?
Exactly. Right. So that's I'm like, oh, I heard it on a podcast. It just takes time to get into these offices.
And where are they going to hear about that podcast? On social media. And what else are they hearing about on social media?
Protein,
saunas, cold plunges, full body scans, like all that stuff.
Gosh, the whole body.
Did I touch a nerve here? Did I touch a nerve with the full body scan?
Okay, Dr. Topol and I, we're going to have a healthy debate here.
Okay.
Full body scans, they are on social media. They've been advertised.
I know.
I so desperately want one.
I don't.
And it's really expensive.
Well, I'm sure they'd be happy to give you one for free and help promote it. Yeah.
So what's your beef with the full body scan? What don't you like about it?
Well, the problem is there's never been a study to show net benefit. And there's so many patients who are then pursue a rabbit hole of all these this nodule or mass. Eventually they get a biopsy. In the book, I wrote about a friend of mine who is a faculty at Cornell, and he's also a New Yorker author. So he did this just to write an article. Then he finds out he's got this prostate thing, Goomba, and now he's like mentally incapacitated, about he has to go away for biopsies. How would you keep going for biopsies every 6 months of your prostate? No, that's not fun. And I've had patients who it's promoted by celebrities and some of these longevity peddlers. Yeah. And what happens is then they go through this, biopsy stuff. I have had one who almost died of a liver biopsy from hemorrhaging, another who had a lung collapse from the lung biopsy, and they turned out they had nothing.
Nothing wrong with them.
Now, the other thing, just to point out, if you do find cancer, which is the whole putative reason to get this, the real deal cancer, well, you've got a mass now. In order to see it on an MRI, it's already got billions of cells. That's not preventing cancer. That's detecting cancer. And, it's not like you're getting it so early. It's a mass now. So we don't know the net benefit of the harm versus the help. Yeah. Even though we have these testimonials that saved my life and all this stuff. And I've told Pronovo, and also the company Ezra that now has been absorbed by Function, do the darn trial to prove it. And then if it's proven, I'll be the first one to advise people to get it.
I'm just going to tell you about my wife. One of her greatest traits is her passion for everything, for her children, for her marriage. But she also has this passion for this sort of preventative health.
If you tell me you should try something, I'll be like, okay, I'll try it.
Yeah. And our house has some really fun wellness trends that I'd love to kind of run by you.
No,
no, you don't want to.
No. I have one of those vibration plates I just got.
Have you heard of those?
But it's fine. Not hurting anything.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm more
vibration plate.
You stand on it and you shake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
it doesn't hurt anything. But
there you go.
Just going back, this is getting a total body MRI isn't preventing anything.
Yeah.
All right. The best it could do, if you're lucky, is that it would find a cancer.
Yeah.
And that's not preventing it. It's already, if it shows up on an MRI, it's not a trivial cancer. It's got billions and billions of cells already there. So, that's one of the things that people have this idea that they're going to prevent cancer with this MRI. No, it doesn't do that. We do have a blood test and many others coming that will pick up microscopic cancer before it could be seen on a scan. Those actually have more promise than a total body MRI, and they'll eventually be much less expensive too.
Okay, first of all, is there a name of that blood test that's already on the market?
Well, the only one that's widely available is called the Gallery test by Grail, and it's being used too broadly, age 50 and older, and nothing else. But if you have a high risk of cancer from family history and other markers, it could be very helpful. I'd rather pick up a cancer where you can't see it on a scan.
Yeah.
And it's still not preventing it, but wow, that's a whole lot earlier than you would get it as an MRI.
All I will say is somebody in my family was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer at age 52. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, if this person had access to this at 45, could that have changed? So that is the only thing.
Fair argument.
But I hear you because
you touched on another thing. So this person at age 52, when do you think this cancer got started?
Probably at age 42. Or
how about 32?
20 years?
Cancers take generally 20 years, some longer, of course. And people think, oh, well, it's just happened in the last few years. No, it's been going on for a long time. And it's because the immune system didn't hold up to squash this cancer as it was, getting into not just its local area, but, spreading. Yeah. So that's why we have to keep the immune system intact. But here's the thing, for Alzheimer's, for cancer, for heart disease, we've got 20-year runways. Why don't we get smart enough to prevent them during the course? So if that fellow age 52, if we knew he was high risk of cancer by genetic tests, by organ clocks, by markers, we would have been ahead of it. No one should get stage 3, 4 advanced metastatic cancer if we are doing our job right in the future.
Wow.
In the future. So there's currently no... Because I'm thinking, okay, if it starts 20 years before, I do a yearly blood test with my physical. So none of those are picking
preventative.
up.
They are preventative, but none of them are picking up that.
None of them are picking up a potential cancer diagnosis even if there's that's in my body.
Right. But let's say, Kim, you had an immune clock.
Right.
And your immune system was, 10 years faster aging than you. That would say, this person now high risk for cancer, right? And what are we going to do to get your immune system to be functioning at your age or even younger than your age? So can we use vaccines to do that? Can we, are there lifestyle things, not you, but obviously in general, are there things we can do to get your immune system so that you don't allow cancer to get rooted, anchored, and grow and spread in your body? So that's the kind of future that we are looking to with a lot of excitement, really.
All right. So I want to get this straight. So let's just go to the near future, 5 years from now, because all these things you're talking about. So 5 years from now, you go to get your blood test, for your annual physical. We already check for cholesterol. We check for lipids, and we check for, depending on what bank it is. You ideally would say we could have in 5 years included in that test a p-tau.
Oh yeah,
an organ, and
now.
But now for the p-tau.
No, I mean just in your regular doctors, they can do this p-tau, organ clock, and then potentially something that's screening for specific types of very early cancer.
Absolutely,
that's
and a lot more. I mean, primary prevention. Today, what do you get? You go to the state-of-the-art physician for primary prevention. You'll get some vaccines, some blood work. Maybe they'll talk to you about nutrition, most likely not, and exercise. That's basically primary prevention today. The future is what you're saying, Penn. And there's other tests that we're not using that we have the knowledge for. But certainly we're going to be tracking people's immune system very closely. And the immunome, which is what is the ultimate secret to our health span, our long life living healthy, that is going to be centered in our approach. And so, for example, we now are discovering new ways to amp up our immune system to make it functional at a much younger age, right? And so if you have a risk of Alzheimer's, we learned through 3 huge natural experiments in Wales, the US, and Australia, and there's 2 more coming in the weeks ahead. You get a shingles vaccine, age 50 and older, you get a 20-25% protection from Alzheimer's.
I'm supposed to get that this year.
Who would have guessed that?
Yeah.
Right? What is that doing? Is it against the herpes zoster virus? No. It's just because you're bringing up your immune system.
Got it.
So that's the kinds of things we're learning now that we didn't anticipate.
Okay. So this is incredible. Like I'm enjoying this because we're going back and forth from this incredibly hopeful future where we've got some great stuff going on and we're sprinkling in these things that are also going on in life that are complete hogwash, right?
Or not.
Some of these things, like you go back to the MRI or the rapamycin, some of the things we discussed, maybe they'll work, but they have to prove it.
Okay.
Otherwise, they could be dangerous.
I have an Aura ring and it measures my sleep and deep sleep, and I know it's not enough, and especially the time of life I'm in. How do I get in bed? I do my whole thing. I have my whole like nighttime routine. Like how do people get more sleep?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing that people don't do is regularity, a very consistent schedule. And, you know, I was terrible with respect to deep sleep and not having a regular schedule. My wife is a night owl and all that. So anyway, I started a campaign to go from my horrible less than 15 minutes of deep sleep to getting it up to beyond 45 minutes on average. And the first thing was getting into a regular in the groove time. And, maybe on some weekend night, I might deviate from that, but really stuck with it. And so you can, with various things like, again, not eating late, not exercising late in the day, if you eat rich foods, they're going to have an effect on your sleep. Alcohol can have, in many people, disrupt deep sleep. If you're going to the void a lot during the night, that's not good. Interrupted sleep. So you want to hydrate in the morning, early in the day, not in the evening. Lots of tricks that we've learned. And so that's what I did. And so I think for people who are poor sleepers, who are not worrywarts, not totally, because, if you monitor your sleep and you're a worrywart, it can make things worse.
Yeah.
But as long as you are open to tracking data, the Ring is perhaps the most accurate. There's also smartwatches and mattress sensors, but deep sleep, high, it helps against Alzheimer's. It helps against heart disease and even cancer. So that's what you're striving for. It's that time, usually in the early part of the night, that it's the so-called slow wave sleep. It reflects that your brain is getting rid of all these toxic chemicals out of your brain through this glymphatic system. And, it's something that is modifiable. Everyone can do better with their deep sleep, pretty much, unless you're just, phenomenally good at this. And so I think it's, for some people, even if it's just for a month, it's worth tracking. And if it's great, if it's an hour plus, terrific. But if it's like what I was, you want to get it, you want to really improve it.
Okay. So we know lack of sleep. You mentioned all these things could harm your immune system, things that could, can you boost your immune system? You just mentioned the challenging your immune system with a vaccine. Anything else on the day-to-day we could be doing to kind of boost it?
Yeah, really healthy foods, like a Mediterranean diet is exceptional for keeping your immune system so it's not triggering so-called inflammation, the aging-related inflammation throughout the body and in the brain. So a healthy diet, that Mediterranean diet has just been iced with unequivocal data.
Wow.
And why we're seeing all these other diets out there, I don't know, because that's the only one that has the goods in terms of evidence.
Mediterranean diet. Okay. And I feel like we like Mediterranean food. So that's a wonderful add-on. I know it's not just specifically like go to a Mediterranean restaurant, but it is.
No, you don't have to. It's not like just having
hummus,
but fresh produce and vegetables, and nuts. Nuts are great. Yeah. I mean, I'm a nut freak.
Same.
You're a nut.
Yeah. And plant-derived primarily, but certainly salmon, fish. I mean, it's all good stuff for a Mediterranean diet.
This is also great. And so another hit is the Mediterranean diet.
Mm-hmm.
I thank you. By the way, your time's super valuable, and thank you so much for giving so much of it to us. There is one last trend I had to ask you about, and I'm saving it for last because I'm scared. Oh gosh. Because we use it and we talk about it a lot, and sometimes we joke about it. And we made a whole video about it, and it's like everyone in our neighborhood is doing it. And I don't know if this is good or bad, but weighted vests.
Oh gosh. Yeah. This is another one of
This is why I was scared.
What is it called? Rockin' or something? I can't remember.
Rucking. RUCK.
Yeah, rocking. Yeah. This is ridiculous. This is totally ridiculous. Okay. Now, I don't say it's going to harm you. It's not going to harm you.
Gotcha. Sorry. Go ahead. Yep.
All right. But here's the point. I mean, aerobic exercise doesn't cut it by itself.
Right.
So if you go bike treadmill, stair climbing, elliptical, swimming, that's great. But you got to do some resistance training, right? Now, if you want to put a heavy backpack on and go for hikes with that, but that's not any better than bands and plunges and things like that, or some weights, deadlifts. I mean, deadlifts are great. You don't have to go rucking if you got hex bar and do some lifts. But this is crazy stuff. I mean, if you're doing that, it's not going to hurt you. It's not like getting some test that's have downsides or taking a drug. But the fixation about this. I mean, I was watching that 60 Minutes on Sunday with Peter Atiyah. He and Nora O'Donnell going rucking on a hike. I said, this is promoting this stuff with no evidence. It's like.
It feels like it would work because it's like heavy, and they told me, Dr. Topol, like I'm a perimenopausal woman, and like bone density is another word they throw out, and so I put on weight, and if I'm walking on with weight, that helps my bones, and so it makes sense.
Yeah, but so does doing bands and doing any resistance training or any strength training will help your bone density, right? And let's go back to one other thing. Regarding the immune system. One of the greatest tragedies in American medicine was this cockamamie trial, the Women's Health Initiative, back in 2000. And it led to the lack of hormone replacement for generations of women.
You talk about
so sad.
And now we know the greatest way to keep an immune system intact in women is hormone replacement, right? And so this is the thing. I mean, I have women coming to me as the cardiologist say they can't get hormone replacement from their gynecologist because they're still stuck in time from this ridiculous study, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. And as far as the rucking and the heavy, fine. But there shouldn't be like centered that's the only way to keep up your bone density. Anything that you do for core activity strength, for balance training. They're all good for you. There's not like just one thing that is so special, right? That is distinct from anything else.
Okay. Well,
so it's fine to do it, but not like this is the only thing, right?
It has become very trendy, and it does sometimes sound like, okay, you're 50. Here's your vest. Enjoy the next 40 years of your life.
Yeah. I've tried it. I mean, just for fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know that there's any difference in doing that versus all the other things you can do that are actually at very low cost. Things like push-ups. Sit-ups.
Those are free, y'all. Push-ups are free.
I feel like we need to have monthly calls with Dr. Topol just so I can run it by him before I invest in a fitness trend.
I mean, when I make a suggestion, that doesn't have the same effect.
No, because
he's a doctor.
Yes.
Yeah. And vice versa. Like if you were to suggest it to me. Also, it's just kind of fun.
I know.
Just to hear it.
I will just say this, why I appreciated Super Agers, your book, and prioritizing health span. I mean, I could live a long time, but I only want to live a long time if I'm living well. So exactly. I appreciate the sentiment here. And I hope that people can find you information in your books, because to your point, there are a lot of doctors and they're doing the best they can. They're working full days, but to keep up with stuff like this, it is often, it's going to be years before some of this stuff makes into the office. So you have to be an advocate for yourself.
Yeah, you're right.
As a patient.
It's too long to get into the mainstream of medicine.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. So tracking the latest developments and being ahead of physicians generally is going to be a good idea, because if a lot of these things that we've talked about today are going to be things that are kind of bottom up, grassroots story. And eventually when enough doctors get prompted, they'll get on it. But the slowness of the medical profession to adopt changes it's almost like it's ossified. It's very difficult. Yeah. Takes many more years than it should. So you're absolutely right about that.
I think we're just going to have to do our monthly check-in with Dr. Topol.
I'm happy to join you. You two are phenomenal, and it's fun to have this chat and to kind of do an alignment of some of the things that are out there. That are not necessarily, have solid backing.
Yeah.
Kind of maybe, and not that they're so wrong, but here's one other thing is, because this is such a big field, there's a lot of predators out there.
Yeah.
There are a lot of predators. There's longevity clinics that you can go to, $250,000, or certain doctors that are charging $150,000, $200,000 doctors who claim they there's all this stuff, these anti-aging supplements. No, there is no such thing as a true anti-aging supplement. So it's really good to have this discussion, because, there's lots of people that are making tremendous amounts of revenue off the backs of people who don't know better, who believe what they're pitching.
His name is Dr. Eric Topol. His book is Super Agers. And all I can say after that, after joining us after flying in from Germany, is Danke schön for your time. And we will see you very soon. And yes, maybe listeners, send us questions for Dr. Topol. Maybe we'll do like a whole listener segment next time if he's open to it. I'll be more than happy to. What a great treat for me to get to join you two. You are the best. I love that we're coming out of this both with grins on our faces. Part of it is humor and just hearing, knowing it, but needing to hear it about some of these trends. And he's not a curmudgeon or anything, but he believes in science, data, and testing. And it has to be a lot for someone like that who's dedicated their entire life to that sort of scientific research to see TikTok just kind of churning these things out. Things. Yeah, really, really quickly. I will say it is the first time we have left a discussion with a doctor when we've talked about Alzheimer's with smiles on our faces, that I feel hopeful. Yeah. And mostly because and Dr. Richard Isaacson, who we've talked to as well, they so deeply and truly care for human beings in a way that's very special, that I do believe that with people like that, I am going to cry again, that they are going to work to prevent Alzheimer's, to where hopefully it benefits my husband, but my kids. Yeah. It's just not going to be something that my kids are going to have to worry about. That was amazing to hear. I had heard some of that before. The cancer thing. Yeah. These micro screening tests, these blood tests, that could change the entire world. That's medicine is in such a fascinatingly good place right now that these leaders, and I'm referring to Dr. Topol as a leader, are really popularizing and working to democratize prevention in the right way. Because he's so right. Yeah. Listen to, I pay a functional medicine doctor. He was saying $100,000. That is not what I pay. No. But that's incredible privilege to be able to pay for stuff like that. And that's not fair. Yeah. It should be accessible to everybody. Okay. Do you have a 3-piece nugget for us, Penn? Nuggets? We could do nuggets. Okay. So if you're new to this podcast, welcome. Penn, at the end of most shows, will
have his 3 takeaways, his favorite 3. And we started calling him a 3-piece nugget. It's been a long story and it's been a long journey. And then we had Sam make Penn's face a chicken nugget. And really, I think what we're missing now is a sponsor.
Right.
So
nugget number 1. I'm pausing for the chicken sound that Sam put in there. Blood tests are getting good, y'all. They are. Remember when they just tested for a couple things? Like the fact that we could be detecting cancer earlier than ever. The fact that like you could put a clock on each individual organ. And most importantly, like it's the blood test that made Dr. Topol say, we're going to stop Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable, right? Nugget number 2, GLPs are the real deal, y'all.
everything is y'all.
Meow.
And if Dr. Topol is positive on something,
you heard.
you heard it takes a lot for him to say, yes, this is a good class of medicine. Yes, we should be looking at this.
Yeah.
Because he is a quick with a no.
Yeah. So interesting. Like who knows? He said it's possible that we're all on some sort of drug like this sometime soon. So we'll see. Nugget number 3, before buying something on TikTok that promotes wellness, I'm going to call Dr. Topol. Just to get his opinion.
Well, maybe. So here's the thing about the weighted vest. Maybe there's no evidence.
I know. I knew you were going to wait until he got off the phone with us.
But I don't think it's hurting anything. And yes, it may not be as bad. I don't think it's hurting anything.
That's not his point. His point isn't that it's hurting something. His point is that it's not delivering some of the promises that people who are selling it are promising.
And also, I think that what he was trying to say is that it's not a substitute for push-ups and resistance bands and like resistance. So it just shouldn't be your only, and I have to say I'm a little guilty of that. On a certain week, if I haven't gone to the gym and lifted anything, I'm like, oh, but I walked with my weighted vest. He's saying that that's not a good substitute.
Yeah.
And we're treating it as if it is. Okay. Well, I love that man.
He's great. He and a lot of other people like him are going to not only extend life, but honestly, like, do we want to extend life or do we want to improve the quality of our later years? I think it's the second one.
Yeah, it's health span.
It's the second one. He's extending our health span. And that, y'all know. Y'all? That means a lot to me, y'all.
Okay, doing the credits as Dr. Eric Topol, our new favorite person.
Specifically, Dr. Eric Topol reviewing any health trends on TikTok. Oh, God, don't get me started on laugh lines. I mean, yeah, sure, it's written and produced by Kim Holderness, Penn Holderness, and Anne-Marie Tapke with original music by Penn Holderness, but it's filmed, edited, and live produced by Sam Allen. And it's hosted by Acast. I don't know who they are. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what everyone's talking about Acast, but they're the ones who are hosting it. We'd love to hear from you. Science proves that if you write to us at podcast@theholdernessfamily.com or you leave a voicemail at 323-364-3929, we'll set you straight on what works and what doesn't. And we'll talk to you soon on the Laugh Lines.
Okay. Love you, Dr. Eric
Yes.
Topol. Love you, those who are listening. Okay, bye.
Saunas.